Oh, look who we have with us. Aram.
Yay.
Hi.
Hi,
I haven't
friends.
seen you in
I
forever.
know it's been a minute. It's so good to see you too, all of you.
And how is daddyhood?
It's great.
Yeah,
It is so great. Yeah, 7 months in. Isn't that crazy?
that is wondrous. So, what is the name of your young person?
Juniper. Juniper Caroline Mitchell. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Such a
Congratulations.
joy.
You look just filled with delight. So well done, Pop.
Really. Yeah. Thank you for asking. Thanks for checking in.
Oh, I've been meaning to check on you, so I'm really happy to have you here.
I'm gonna make a note now to send you some photos.
Please, thank you.
Okay.
All
Yeah.
right. We got Aaron and Sharon and Dave. Ooh, is that Carolina? Hello. We have Cha Chung and Becca and Ray. Of course, we have our trusty team members, Jake and Temple. Chen, you are coming to us from China. Thank you. Good to have you with us. We're just going to give folks a few more minutes to join us. So, get comfortable in your seats. I already see some folks snacking. Have a beverage. We like well-nourished brains while we're learning. Hmm. Looks like I'm getting messages from a couple of folks. Great. Oh, Liz. Hello, dear. Well, while we're waiting for folks, I would love it if everyone took a moment, if you haven't already, to select your qualities because we indeed will be setting the arena. And then thumbs up when you have your qualities ready. Right. Oh, we've got Karen and Karen.
The Karens are here. Now it's a
Indeed.
party.
They said we have three Karens now. Whoa. It's about to get wild. All right. Let's go ahead and get started. Who am I willing to be in order to produce an extraordinary result out of this interaction? I'm willing to be grateful, attentive, clear, supportive, joyous. Sharon.
Yes, I'm willing to be appreciative, creative, open, receptive, and present.
Thank you. Ray.
I'm willing to be attentive, clear, creative, flexible, and supportive.
Excellent. Thank you. Aram.
I am willing to be receptive, present, appreciative, empowering, and grateful.
Thank you. Aaron.
I'm willing to be appreciative, attentive, flexible, grateful, and open.
Wonderful. Dave.
I'm willing to be alert, attentive, focused, grateful, and receptive.
Excellent. Carolina.
I'm willing to be clear, focused, present, receptive, and creative.
Beautiful. Becca.
I am willing to be appreciative, compassionate, creative, open, and receptive.
Excellent. Chen.
I am willing to be clear, receptive, focused, grateful, and open.
Thank you. Karen Kwasnowski.
I am willing to be open, receptive, flexible, clear, and attentive.
Thank you. Jonathan.
I'm willing to be flexible, open, creative, joyous, and focused.
Thank you. Liz.
I am willing to be attentive, creative, empowering, joyous, and loving.
Wonderful. Karen Carlson.
I'm willing to be attentive, focused, grateful, joyous, and receptive.
Thank you. Karen McClellan.
I'm willing to be clear, present, open, receptive, and focused.
Thank you. Faith.
Good morning. I am willing to be appreciative, creative, enthusiastic, grateful, and present.
Wonderful. Jachung, are you able to share your qualities?
Yes, I am. I'm on the way, so I couldn't turn it now, but later I will. I am willing to be flexible, grateful, open, appreciative, and receptive.
Thank you. Jake. Are you willing to be heard? No, the tech gremlins, I'm sorry.
I am. Thank you. I'm willing to be courageous, gentle, grateful, open, and present.
Thank you. Temple, do you have your qualities ready? I can come back.
Yes.
Perfect.
I am willing to be open, receptive, supportive, present, and enthusiastic.
Wonderful. Thank you. Olga.
I am willing to be alert, gentle, supportive, attentive, and grateful.
Perfect. And Greg.
I am willing to be grateful, enthusiastic, empowering, clear, and present.
Wonderful. Okay. Everyone in ready position? All right. Am I willing to systematically dismantle my structure of knowing? Yes. Am I willing to be a demand for coaching? Yes. Am I willing to guarantee that whoever coaches me will be successful? Yes. Wonderful. And Greg, can we please have a bonus question?
Am I willing to have the best time on this wonderful morning or afternoon or whatever time it is here with my coaching buddies?
The best. One of the things I love about having these sessions is it's like these mini reunions where we get to see all of you. We adore having the time to share and learn together. So thank you for taking the time out of your day to come here and be with us. So we're going to take just a couple of moments to write on the following reflection because we really want you to get the most out of our time together. So with that in mind, what would I love to get for myself out of our time together regarding introducing ACE tools to clients? Just take 2 minutes to write on the following prompt, and Olga's dropped it in the chat. I'll go ahead and set a timer. Taking 30 more seconds. Okay, wrapping up. All right. I would love to hear from 3 people. Go ahead and raise your hand and get yourself in the queue. Bottom line, what would you love to get out of our time together regarding introducing ACE tools to clients? Perfect. Thank you. Jonathan.
Okay, so what I wrote is learning the proper timing about it. Is it good to do by the end of a session when it feels appropriate, or maybe in the beginning of a next session when a person brought something from another session that feels appropriate? How much time is usually good to spend considering like an 1 hour coaching session? And the last thing that I wrote is it good to relearn or reintroduce a tool to a client with ACE that is appropriate to re-enroll them into it?
Perfect. I'm seeing a lot of head nodding, so what you're looking at is definitely in the space. Thank you, Jonathan.
Here.
Karen.
I would love to both revisit and discover new ways to introduce ACE tools and apply my learning today.
Say more so that way I can get a sense of what you're looking at, what you mean by
apply it today.
Yes.
I have a couple of coaching sessions this afternoon, so I'm eager to take this learning and apply it if possible. Yeah.
Perfect. Great. Happy to support you with that. Thank you, Karen. Jen.
Yeah, for me, I would love to learn the guideline of introducing the tool to the clients as a new coach. And then second is I'm curious to learn if there's certain tools or certain contents that is recommended to do live. For example, live's intention, why we need to do that live instead of, just giving the handout to the client because the instruction is pretty clear. So I'd love more about that.
Oh, I'm so glad you asked that question. So hold on to that and we'll make sure that we address that. So Greg, sounds like folks are in the right place. They've got some great questions already.
Yes, I'm glad we decided to give this a spacious 2 hours so we can answer all the questions that come up along the way.
Indeed. Well, let's take a look at the purpose so that way we know what we'll be looking at together during these 2 hours. So Olga, go ahead and bring up the slide. So during our time together, our purpose is for you to learn how to successfully share ACE tools in a way that's clear, relevant, and effective in order to support the success of your clients. For you to learn how to successfully share ACE tools in a way that's clear, relevant, and effective in order to support the success of your clients. So out of this training, you're going to discover the principles behind effectively introducing ACE tools to clients. You're going to learn the ways to enroll your clients into the benefits of the coaching arena, life's intentions, monkey mind, and standards of integrity. And then you're going to see at what point in the coaching journey it's going to be most optimal to introduce each of these tools. And Olga's going to drop these into the chat so that way you can see what we're looking at together. So considering what you're seeing right now, any questions? No, we're good.
Does this sound pretty good for our 2 hours together? Sparkle fingers. Okay. Perfect.
Well, before we move any further, I think let's take a look at the principles behind introducing ACE tools to clients. And this is where I want to bring in our Dean of Students.
Thank you, Raquel. Yeah, before we share some of these principles, if you came here looking for a curriculum or formula for introducing the tools, this is not the webinar or workshop for you. Remember, it's the coaching dance, going back to being coach. Always asking, what does client need? What does client need? Not what do I need to say? What does client need to hear? So we're starting with these principles because these principles can guide you to know when and how a tool will be supportive for the coaching. So let's go ahead and look at the first principle. Coach first. Okay, the tools are here to support the coaching, not the other way around. Now, as ACE coaches, most of us, maybe all of us, are in love with these tools. You know, we love the ACE tools and we want to share them. And oftentimes, especially early on for us ACE coaches, I know I did this as well, getting started, we start to think that the value of coaching is sharing the tools. It's like, this is what they came for. They want to learn the tools from me that I learned. Not at all. Remember, fundamentally, someone comes to a coach to be in the presence of someone who sees who they really are. Now, this isn't on the slide, but I would say the most powerful tools you can ever use as an ontological coach are the ones that your client will never hear about. Seeing them through the green lens and the coaching lens. Practicing all is well. It's really being able to see who they truly are. Everything else is just to support that. Because the truth is, when you bring the ontological presence, when you create that through seeing them through the coaching lens consistently, and when you notice you're not, gently returning back to it, you can effectively coach them without the client knowing any ACE tools. Sparkle fingers if this is clear. We don't want to go any further if you're thinking, okay, I really need to learn how to teach them the tools because that's the only way they're going to get value. In fact, well, I won't even go there. Sometimes coaches will worry that if their clients go to the Mastering Your Life course, there will be, it's like, what value will I bring if they're going to learn all this stuff from the Mastering Your Life course? Has anyone had a thought like that? It's like, really, my value is to teach them what I learned in this course. Nothing could be farther from the truth. When they take the Mastering Your Life course, it brings even more value to your coaching because you don't have to spend any time teaching them anything. You just go right to the most valuable thing that you can offer, which is your coaching, so that in your presence, they experience who they really are. Now, the tools are really useful for enhancing that. And that's what we're looking at today. So let's bring the slides back up. Thanks for allowing me that tangent. All right, let's look at the next bullet. Present the tools contextually. The tools work best when presented in the context of the live coaching session. I know already in the beginning a question about that came up. And connected with the coaching topic at hand. So when you present a tool, here as homework or at the beginning of the session, before we do anything, I want you to learn this tool. It's not bad. They'll get some value out of it, but most likely it'll be like an interesting concept. But when you introduce a tool, I'll give you an example. when you introduce the monkey mind symptom checklist, and we'll go into specifics with some of these tools later, when there's already monkey mind in the space and they're observing their monkey mind, and you just have a whole beautiful, rich monkey mind banana fest. And then you say, well, let me introduce something that might help. And you show them for the first time the monkey mind symptom checklist and have them map what's already in the space onto it. It immediately becomes relevant to them. They're enrolled in the value of it. It's an experience versus a concept, which is always more powerful. Let's go on to the next bullet. And enroll them into the primary benefit. And we're going to look at some of the primary benefits, so you're really clear on it, of whatever you're about to share. Make sure that they are enrolled into the possibility of what they're about to receive before giving it to them. That way they're like, yes, please, I want to see something that's going to give me, for example, some breathing room for all these worries and doubts that are coming up. Because like they're getting in the way of me seeing how to move forward. Any questions on these first two principles before we move on? Sparkles if this is clear so far. Good. All right. Next slide. Less is more, okay? No more than one tool or handout per session. Otherwise, it turns into a lecture. And that's not what they came for. And by the way, we're going to be putting together these principles into a handout that we'll add to the portal with the recording of this. So let's look at the next slide. Experiential versus conceptual. I talked a little bit about this, but one clue that it is turning into conceptual is if you notice you're working hard to explain a tool. You know, we hear it from coaches all the time. I'm not sure if I'm explaining this tool correctly. Have you ever had a thought, how do I explain this? Was that just me? Okay, good. When you support the client to experience the power of the tool in the moment, as their experience is shifting, you don't need to explain it so much. They don't need to even know everything you know about the tool to start using it. Next bullet. And remember, a tool is only effective when used skillfully. If you remember back to your first course, our training approach, where we give you principles, tools, and then skills. Without skills, a tool is useless. What that means is you're going to be practicing these tools over multiple sessions so the client can build skill over time. For example, standards of integrity. When you introduce standards of integrity, they'll get some value because they're seeing it for the first time. But session over session, every time they practice shifting their attention to some self-limiting conversation to their standards of integrity, they'll develop skill. So they'll be more and more effective. So know that the tool isn't just something you teach once and then move on. It's something that they practice with you so that by the end of a coaching relationship, they already have these skills so that they can go out and continue to use them in their life, even if they're no longer working with you, which is one of the reasons why we really recommend at least a 6-month contract with your clients so they can really experience and develop the skill over time. Next bullet. This is one of the best ACE principles you can practice. Don't work harder than the client. If you notice you're working harder than the client, all you need to do, return to the green lens, return to the coaching lens. Practice all as well. That's it. Every time you notice, I'm working really hard because I want them to get this. I want them to see it. Don't you see it? Okay. Just notice when you're doing that and shift back. And when you share tools, use it to empower the client. Empower. It's their tapping into their own greatness, their own voice of wisdom, rather than trying to fix the client or solve the problem.
And
For example,
if you're having a moment where you're like, I think my client needs the green lens right now, it's likely you're seeing them through the red lens. And so that's where you want to shift your attention to the green lens.
Yep. Oh, they really need their standards of integrity because they're being incoherent. I got to give it to them to solve this. All is well. Just notice that's a natural place for the brain to go, and just notice it, gently return back. What does client need right now to empower them to show up to this point of mastery, this next point of mastery? Any questions on this slide?
Aaron.
Yes. I appreciate that you bringing up the green lens because I see that. I see how that has been a thing in some of my sessions, almost verbatim to what you just said, Raquel. And I am curious if, when, how there is an occasion for introducing the green lens to clients in an empowering way. I noticed that the green lens isn't on our list for today, but it is something that I've never introduced it to a client. But I find it to be so empowering myself.
Yeah.
So I'm curious about that.
Great. Well, a couple things on this. And I'm sure Raquel can fill in with a couple more because this is a great question. What you don't want with the green lens is for it to come off as positive thinking. And sometimes if they haven't really observed and surrendered whatever red lens conversation they're having, the green lens will be like putting a Band-Aid on it. And it could fall flat. There are times where you may introduce the green lens if really your voice of wisdom is seeing this is absolutely what the client is ready to receive and interested. This is what they need to hear. But not, once again, if, as Raquel said, if you're saying they really need to see this person through the green lens, it's a good signal that you might not be seeing the client through the green lens. One situation where the green lens can be really powerful is if someone is a leader and they want to empower their teams and they're looking for a way to really rise above kind of the problem solving and getting wrapped up in trying to fix everything. And one of the things you can do is invite them to one of the regular public Lead Like a Coach webinars that we lead so that they get it in a group context versus I'm really having a difficult time with this relationship. Great. Well, let me show you a way to see them through the green lens. And then that's kind of like challenging their conclusions and often falls flat.
Mm-hmm.
And in that case, so many of the other tools you have available can be useful, switching to nevertheless, I'm willing, their life's intentions, their standards of integrity. Raquel, I know you have something to add here as well.
No, I'm so glad that you brought up the Lead Like a Coach webinars. Our goal is to have monthly sessions such that if you have a client that you see could really benefit from developing this skill, to send them to the session. And that doesn't preclude you from coaching them because it's going to be natural that as they start practicing this skill, they're going to experience their point of mastery. And this is where you as coach get to come in, because if something didn't come up for them as they were bringing this out into the real world, I would be stunned.
Yeah.
And what are you
It's
seeing
very
from
helpful.
what are you seeing from what we're sharing, Aaron?
I am seeing an opportunity that I have in a position of leadership that I hold to where I've been thinking like, oh, do I need to teach my volunteers the green lens? And I'm seeing that no, this is a great opportunity for me to apply the green lens as I go into my work with them. And I'm seeing that when what comes up for me is, oh, I think they need to ... That's a good flag that I'm not seeing them through the green lens and not being coach.
And I love that if I see that they need ... I promise you, you're not the first coach. I have been there. And as an example, every single time, I'm almost like to admit this, every single time I have gone into a session ready to share this tool. I'm gonna teach them this tool, and then maybe we'll get some coaching in there. It falls so flat. It's just like the client every single time is like, okay, that's nice.
Yeah.
I mean, standards of integrity, that's nice. Life's intentions, huh? Okay. Because it's not relevant, right? And I was doing it because I'm trying to fix them.
Yeah.
Right? Now, however, if coach's instinct says, I might want to have this tool ready in case my client needs it, my experience has been about 95% of the time, coach's instinct was spot on. And when I had it there ready, coaching happened. And then I could say, you know, Stephen, I know that there's something really important here for you. And sometimes, and you've said to me a couple of times, and you've even said it in the session, that it's really important for you to connect with your purpose. So I'm going to share with you something that might help you connect with something that's so important to you and to see it clearly such that you understand what's calling you forth. What do you think about that? And then Stephen goes, all right, let's look. And then I walk them through the life's intention. It's like, oh, wait, so this is my purpose here and now. That's calling me forth. And we'll talk more about that in just a few moments. But do you notice the difference?
Yes.
Yeah. Has anyone else had the experience that I had? Am I the only coach that's just tried to? Oh, thank goodness. So I'm glad you see these principles are so important as you're teaching. Yes, Olga.
I'm wondering, it's kind of along the lines of the green lens, but the forgiveness protocol, I know we're not covering it today, but given that it's so experiential, could that be a good one to use in place of teaching the green lens? But then if they bring the big one, that's kind of another point of concern. I don't know what thoughts you have on the forgiveness protocol in that place.
I have actually done a bonus session. If I see that coaching has happened and the client sees, what's coming up for them, experiences, observation and surrender, and their authentic action, like that's clear. And then I'll share it. By the way, there's an exercise that I have that supports you to forgive someone, not for you, but for their sake. It's something that really helps free up energy. So that way you can be showing up in the way that you most want to. And then I check with them. Would you be interested in a bonus session? Pretty much everyone says yes. Because they do want some relief. This has been hanging on. So while there is a recording available, I tend to prefer to have that recording available for folks that have gone through the Mastering Your Life course because they've already been through the forgiveness process with us, and it is experiential rather than cognitive. Greg, is there anything that you want to add to this?
Well, yeah, I think it's going back to what is the purpose of them going through the forgiveness exercise, that it might be relevant. Because when you said instead of the green lens, it goes back to the same thing. Is it like instead of the green lens because, man, this client really needs to forgive this person? Then it might not land, because ontological forgiveness is very different than psychological forgiveness. And if the client is saying, I need to forgive this person so that I can move on, that's psychological forgiveness. I need to forgive this person for my sake. Psychological forgiveness is very important sometimes. Bless you, Raquel. And ontological forgiveness is like, I don't want to make something true about this person because of what they've done. And if you recall the forgiveness process, it's unconditional forevermore. It's quite a thing. It's like, and you can, if they're interested in it, you want to spend a little time supporting them to see what it really means. One way you can check is, okay, Johnny, I know you're saying that you want to forgive Susie, and I appreciate the courage it takes to be willing to forgive them. Now, if you go through this process, you don't get to talk about how Susie did this or did that. You don't get to tell those stories anymore. You give up permission for yourself to do that. And it allows them to check in to see. And that helps kind of gauge, is this a small enough person to forgive? So be sparing and judicious with the forgiveness process for those reasons, because oftentimes the only understanding of forgiveness that they have is psychological. Is that clear, folks? Okay, good. Well, let's get into the benefits of some of the most common tools that you'll use with your clients.
So actually, Olga, before we speak to the benefits of the coaching arena, one of the things I want to note is that you're going to want to be using the client version of the arena. Is everyone familiar with a client version? Raise your hand if you are not familiar with the client version. Oh, okay, great. So I'm going to share my screen in one moment. So this is the version of the arena that you are familiar with. And you can be found here where it says main arena. Now, if you move over and you click client arena, you'll notice that the questions change. Why is it important to use the client arena? Remember that it took almost a full day during Foundations 1 to go through the arena that you are most familiar with. Because we were getting underneath the questions, so that way the questions really landed for you in a very particular way. We don't want you in the position of trying to teach something like that to your client. And so having the client arena, you'll notice that these questions are much more straightforward, very easy to digest. And you'll find it in setthearena/client. I'm going to stop sharing. Any questions here? Yes, Faith.
This was my main question, actually. That's the one thing I haven't introduced yet with any of my clients is the client arena. When and how and why is it different than what we do?
Perfect. Well, they're not going to know why it's different than what we do because they haven't yet seen it. Now, if you have a client that's come to you that's already gone through the ACE program, then you can absolutely use the regular arena. So let's go ahead and start off with the benefits, Faith, and I think that'll help you get a sense of how we're introducing it, what we're saying to our clients, so that we're enrolling them into the benefit of using this regularly throughout your sessions. So Olga, go ahead and bring this up. So one of the benefits of the coaching arena is it's a way to formally start a conversation. Remember, this is a context that might be very different than what they've otherwise experienced. And that by setting the arena, we are declaring the context in which coaching will take place. We're letting them know that this is a special dynamic that we get to create together. And in fact, it's a shared agreement that allows us to ensure that our clients are getting the most out of our time together. So Olga, go ahead and advance to the next bullet. And that this agreement reinforces that this is a partnership, that we are here together to help you reach your goals, and that both you and I have qualities and attributes that you can see right here in this arena that we get to call forth and contribute to our time together. And this is one thing I always love to make sure I say. It's also important for us to bring this into play because it's a reminder for me as a coach to be open to the growth that's available to me as a professional. So that way I am ensuring that you are getting the most value out of each session together. So Olga's going to go ahead and drop the benefits of the arena in the chat. But before I move forward, do we have any questions here?
When are you introducing that then? Is it, I mean, I usually a few sessions in maybe, and then you do, or is it right up front?
I tend to introduce it at the very latest, the second session. I actually like to introduce it in the first session because it just lets them know what we're up for together. It gives me an opportunity to introduce being willing, which is really one of the most powerful statements that one can make in making a change in their life. And, and we can say being willing is so important because it takes heart to say, even if I don't feel like it, even if I don't want to, nevertheless, I'm willing to do that thing that I know is important for me to do, whether it's pay down my debt, write that book, run each day. That this, by bringing I am willing into play during our sessions and into our coaching journey, it supports you to say, I am greater than what my brain is saying. Temple.
I would like to get some feedback because one of the ways in which I've been introducing the arena, I would say to the client, this is an opportunity for you to decide how you want to show up in this space so that you can have an extraordinary interaction with whoever it is or whatever you're working on, whatever the situation may be. And that what you'll notice is after you've completed whatever you're working on or whatever interaction you're having, if you actually go back, you'll see how you actually showed up in this way. So this gives you the opportunity to really be intentional and purposeful about who you are willing to be in this moment. What is your feedback on how I've been framing that?
No, this is pretty solid. The one thing I'd add is I would recommend bringing an us into it. This allows us to call forth these qualities. This allows us to take a look at the end of the session. Yes, I did bring this to this session. It's a reminder to both of us that we have the capacity to bring this to life, no matter what our brain is saying to us. Yes, Greg.
Yeah, I love what you're pointing to. And Temple, yeah, great work pointing to the benefits, you know, enrolling. This is with any, again, pointing back to this principle, enroll them into whatever you're presenting. Enroll them into it. And I love what you're pointing to, Raquel, about we're in this arena together. It gives you an opportunity to both say yes to the coaching together. You know, you're not, it brings you into the same level. On some level, that it opens the ontological space, even if they never hear the word ontology, and it positions you alongside them. As opposed to, okay, I'm coming to coach, give me advice, tell me what to do. And so when you take the time to really say, we're agreeing to the same agreements here, it helps establish the partnership and give them a chance to say yes to it, to choose. And this is why Raquel's pointing to, at the heart of this is being willing. This is, you know, I am willing are the 3 most powerful words you might ever say in your life. And when you're coaching someone ontologically and they observe some kind of self-limiting conversation, a monkey mind conversation, a limiting conclusion, a structure of knowing that's getting in their way, and they observe it and they see how it's getting in the way of their success, and then it's time to surrender and shift to something. They need something interesting to shift to. Now, before they have their life's intentions or anything like that, one of the best ontological conclusions they can shift to is, nevertheless, I am willing. So it's great to have that in place. Now, the coaching agreement, you know, we have a handout too, if you want to use a handout for the coaching agreement, which is the same thing as the client arena. I don't always introduce it the same time in the coaching relationship. Sometimes I'll do it on the first session. But if I introduce it in the first session, I'll always first let them know, you know, there's something that I can introduce. It's going to help really for us both to show up and get the most out of this, enroll them into it. But, you know, is there anything else that you really want to make sure to get coached on? Is there any, you know, topic that is on the top of your mind? Is there any coaching that's going to come for it? Because I want you to know that part of what you're doing is establishing the expectation that you are designing the sessions together. So letting them know that the coaching is always going to come before anything that I share with them. And sometimes what I'll do, you don't have to do it this way, and you don't have to do it the same way each time, always pointing back to what does client need. But sometimes I'll introduce the first question in the first session. Who am I willing to be? And if you think about the first question, being willing, that core principle is at the heart of it. So I want to enroll them into being willing. Have them see the value of it. So it's not just words we're saying. There's 23 qualities of being? You know, I want them to look to notice, you know, the quality of the qualities of being. I want them to notice the effect of calling forth these qualities. I want them to see the difference between courageous and courage. Why do we say I'm willing to be courageous versus I'm willing to have courage? Have them see that these qualities are within them, and that by saying I am willing to be these qualities, they automatically call them forth. For them to see I too am asking and answering this question, picking 5 qualities so that I know I'm bringing these into our conversation. In order
One of
to
the
produce,
benefits, oh, sorry.
in
Go
order
ahead.
to produce an extraordinary result outside of the ordinary. How much courage it is to come in and produce a result that's not within the ordinary, everyday expectations. Result isn't physical reality. Out of each coaching session, it's not just going to be insight. There's always going to be action to produce results. You see how much I've just spent a few minutes just talking about question 1. And so you want them to be enrolled into each question, which is why sometimes I'll split it up, question 1, and then maybe 2, 3, 4 in the next session. Raquel, what were you going to say? I saw
No,
Temple and some other hands come up.
that volleys up but I wanted to come back to Faith. So you asked when, Faith? Somewhere between the first and second session. One of the things I've noticed is that when I'm bringing this into play, especially because I'm sharing, this is for both of us, it lets the client know, I'm not trying to fix you with this. This is our shared agreement. This is our partnership. It sets a completely different tone for the coaching journey. One that, as Greg notes, is co-creative. And so, as we said earlier, there's not a formula. It's feeling out what does client need? I've had some clients that come in, they're just like, all right, so like, what is it you got to help me with this? And it's like, great, Jason. Need for what? Like, I'd love to support you. Like, what is something that you could use some support around during our time together today? Is there something at work or at home? And then you start doing some coaching. And then from there, you'll see where you can start bringing in, whether it's the first question of the arena or the entirety, depending on how much time that you have. But really bringing them into the benefit of using this, because one of the things I've also done is that once they're starting to get used to starting our sessions with this, there's often a point in time around the 5th session where we start to see, oh, you know what? Notice this tool that we've been using that supports us in our time. Might this be something that you could bring into play before you go to your next staff meeting? Because, what if life were coaching you? It's not just me here during our time together, but life is here to support you. And it sets up a whole different practice for them. Was this helpful, Faith? Good. Anyone else? Oh, Temple, you had a question.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So when I do this, I go through each question with the client, and long story short, I have also sent the client, because whenever we do something, I send them whatever handout or whatnot that can support. I've also sent them the link to the client's version of the coaching agreement. But it's only after I've introduced it, talked about it, there's an understanding. I just want to make sure that that is appropriate.
Absolutely.
That is an appropriate move, that is not too much.
Because you want them to bring that into their life We want to normalize it. This is yours to use here in our time together before you have dinner with your sweet pea. Yeah. No, you're doing great, Temple.
Yeah. And it's with any of these tools. Again, if you've given a handout before bringing it into the session, nothing bad has happened. You didn't break your client. But when you bring the experience in contextually in the coaching conversation, so it's relevant, it's contextual, it's experiential, then absolutely use the handouts. That's why we have the handouts. Because then they can remind, it was like, what was that thing? It was so powerful in the experience. Let me look at it again. And then they can start to build the skill over time. And it helps remind them how to practice it.
Yes.
But they've already been enrolled in the power of it because they've experienced it. So exactly how you're doing it, Temple, is right on.
And I love that you brought up something, Greg, that just reminded me something I found beneficial when I'm starting a journey with a client is I set them up with their own folder. So then that way, and I'll make a copy of whatever handout that we use and I put it in their folder. So that way, because I don't know if this happened to you. Sometimes clients go, oh, I lost my blah, 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 blah. It's like, great. Here's the link to your folder. This is your folder for all of your documents. No one else has access to it but me and you. So that way they have certainty about where whatever it is that you share with them can be found. So I hope this is helpful for folks. Jeshon.
I just would like to share my mentor, Coach Lori Garrell, share with me, and which is very effective to me by introducing the coaching agreement. Because prior to that, I feel my introduction is very dry. It's like, let's do this, but why are we doing this? I have no idea, right? And then she described in a way that imagine each question as a wall that we're building. So each question after we finish, we're building a wall. So it's very visual. It's like, and I'm so glad, Raquel, you were mentioning about shared agreement because it is between me and you. And then each question is building a wall between us. Wow, how, just very vivid. And after that, I feel very complete. And then we're creating this space for us. And it really works out for the client. So I just want to share that here. And secondly, it is about accountability. I've never thought about using coaching agreement as a accountability tool because like maybe in a session, the client is not willing to take an action or something, then we go back to the coaching agreement, say, hey, once I see the most valuable action to take, am I willing to take it? You said yes, but you're not taking it or we're not going there. So it just opened my horizon. There are so many creative ways to use the tool. I just want to give it out there.
Yeah. Thank you, Jachon. One of the things I'm glad that you brought us into play as we go through each one of the tools that we mentioned, consider setting up time with your mentor coach to practice introducing this to your CIE. So that way your coach can coach you. And no matter where you are in your journey, this is just the opportunity to refine how are you approaching this such that it lands, such that it is relevant to what your client is experiencing. Anything else I'm missing before we move forward, Greg?
Well, Jachung, I love what you're sharing. There may be another level to see, and I'm sure Lori would love to discuss beyond an accountability tool. Because the word accountability, it's sort of like coaches holding me accountable, right? Which isn't a bad thing. Sometimes people say, Coach, I just want you to hold me accountable. But it's not really developing their internal locus of control. When we say, you said you would do this, I'm holding you accountable. As opposed to, ontologically, we know that who they are is willing. And we know that when they make a promise to do something, it matters to them. Now, when they come in, I say when because they will come into a session not having done what they promised they would do. It is wonderful because whatever the action was, even if it was a very, very small action, whatever came up that they were listening to, that they didn't do it, is the thing that comes up that they listen to when they're not doing any of the areas in their life they're struggling with. And you can say to them, look, first of all, appreciate the courage of you telling the truth. You didn't do what you said you would do. And if everyone did what they said they would do the first time, there would be no need for coaching. So let's look. Because I have a feeling that for you to really see what came up for you, that had you not do this thing, is causing you to struggle in other areas of your life. That this might be exactly what you came to coaching for. And you see, the energy I'm saying that with is not, I'm holding you accountable. It's wonderful. Let's look.
Yeah.
Because I know this is important to you. I know you have what it takes and you are willing.
Yep.
Is clear, folks?
Perfect, Greg. Thank you. So let's take a look at life's intentions. So, Chen, you had asked, why can't I just give it to them? Like, it's pretty self-explanatory. Considering what you've been hearing us say, what are you seeing now?
I think it's also a, how do I say, one is that more experiential than conceptual. I do see that, and I experienced that just now. The other thing is it's different than when you read it versus when you speak it. And I think this is especially helpful at the beginning of the partnership. So it's more a commitment, mutual commitment.
Perfect. I'm glad that you see that. So let's take a look at the benefits, because now that you see it's experiential, you can support through your conversation with your client as you're enrolling them into it to see, how does this actually enhance their experience in life? How does this support them throughout their coaching journey? So let's go ahead and bring up the slide on benefits. So life's intentions is useful. It's a call to being. It helps people get a sense of how this coaching topic is relevant to what's calling them forth. It keeps it from just being an isolated incident, but it's part of something greater. It's part of their hero's journey. It sets the stage for what they're really up for during your time together. And it's a really sweet way for them to see what's up for them. You've heard me say people have come to me, and I'm sure they've come to you, Coach, I just need to find my purpose. Oh my gosh, I've been just like looking all over. Can you help me find my purpose? I've done it myself. And so the sweetness of the life's intentions is this is the opportunity to see that their purpose isn't something to be found out there. It lives within them at any given point in time. And this tool, this method supports them to get clear on the purpose that's calling them forth here and now. It's not just purpose, it's purposes. Notice for yourself in your coaching journey, in your life's journey, since you've been through the Foundations 1 course, that some of your life's intentions have shifted. I know for me, being a musician was a 1 8 years ago. It's now a 5. It's really important to me. It's an aspect of me being creative, which also supports me to be an effective coach. So you get to support your clients to see how each of these life's intentions can interlock such to support them to bring forth the life that's calling them. And the thing about life's intentions, it's one of the easiest ontological conclusions. It's something so simple for them to wrap their mind around. Without even saying to them that this can go into box 1 instead of their monkey mind, you know it's where they can shift their attention to when they're at their point of mastery and their monkey mind naturally becomes active. Now, one of the things about life's intentions is it's one of the first tools that I love sharing. I usually share this second, third session because it's pretty non-threatening. It's super easy to relate to. So Olga, go ahead and pull this down. So one of the things that you might want to memorize as you share this with folks, and I think, do we have a slide for this one? Life's intention?
We do.
Number 8, thank you. So you might want to share something like this. An intention is a direction, aim, or purpose, and a life's intention is a direction, aim, or purpose that gives your life a sense of meaning. It allows you to connect with the meaning that has lived within you all along. One of the things that Dr. Maria has shared, and I found it really beneficial, and Olga, you can please take this down, is that you might even invite your client to share, like once you've done the life's intention with them, and again, remember, you don't walk into the session going like, here's a thing to fix you, but see where it might be relevant to the coaching topic that they've already brought into play. And then whether it's in this session or the following session, when it's appropriate, you might even say, if you're interested, you can even bring this to your partner, if they're partnered, or your best friend, someone in your life that's really close to you, and have them do it. Why? Because it enrolls their partner or their best friend not into a coaching journey for them, but into your client's coaching journey. It reinforces the support within their community. And it gives them an opportunity to talk about what has meaning for them at this point in time. Sometimes partners have gone through years without really talking about what has great meaning for them. Same thing with best friends. But it helps build out that capacity for support that they can more readily call upon because their partner or their best friend knows what they're up for. Any questions here? Erin.
For the life's intentions on the list, on the work on the handout, is that an exhaustive list, or are there like, what if the client says, well, my life intention is this, but it's not on that list?
Can you give me an example?
No one's ever said that to me, but I was just
Okay.
wondering if
So
we had
notice
to
that.
stick to those.
Yeah, so notice that. Like there's going to be a lot of what ifs, right?
Mhm.
I've never had a client say that. But if they did, you might say something like, well, this is the list that we have, and you might want to take a look. What's underneath the question that you have? What's the concern? And from there, you're going to get a sense of the life's intention that's calling them forth. Because this is the thing. And this goes back to Chen, why we want to do this with your client. Because time and again, as I've been walking someone through their life's intentions, inevitably, well, one, sometimes your client will mark to be financially successful as a 3. That's a great coaching topic because being financially successful supports all of the other life's intentions. And so this is where you can gently coach, like, notice for yourself what your brain might be saying that has you mark it as a 3. And I know that it's important for you to be a loving family member. And just look, how could making this a 5 support you to do that? How can it support you to be more creative, to be an effective coach, to be physically fit and healthy? Connect it to other life's intentions that are already very evident to them, are 5. And because you've already had the discovery session, at least one session with them, you've already heard some of their life's intentions coming to play. You've heard some variation of it. And funny, every now and again, I'll have a client where the very thing that they're coming to coaching for, they mark as a 2 or a 3. Again, really great coaching. Aram, I see you smiling. You've had that experience?
I lived that experience.
Say more about that.
Just what you said about being financially successful. I don't know, like I think entrepreneur was a dirty word 2 years ago. Yeah, you know, my people in my family aren't meant to go out there and like make lots of money. We're meant to kind of go and serve and suffer and struggle. So that made a lot of life's intentions that are important to me now. Initially, I didn't see them that way.
Yeah, I never would have thought going into Foundations 1 myself that being financially successful would be so important. But once I did make it important, once I did give it a 5, it set the stage for so many other possibilities available.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing that, Aaron.
Definitely.
Becca.
I had a similar thought to Aaron, where, I am primarily going to be working with younger people. And as I'm actually currently also reading The Energy of Money, and there's different life's intentions listed in The Energy of Money than what are just on this list that we have now. And so Aaron was like, nobody said that to me, but I could see a 16-year-old looking at this list and being like a little bit like, this feels very far out. For me,
Isn't that the nature of a 16-year-old? Is it all feels very far out?
Yeah.
And
but
so
there really is no wiggle room on this list, though, is what I'm hearing you say to Aaron.
Well, what if you did stick to the list? How might you enroll someone to see which life's intentions are relevant for them right now? Because sometimes when someone says, I actually want to bring a different one into play, it gives them a chance to not look at something that's actually calling them forth.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's natural. It happens. That's where you as coach can really have coach's ear in play. What has you asking that question? Because from what I've heard of you, Stephen, you'd love to have a better relationship with your mom. So it's clear to me that being a loving family member is really important to you.
Yeah, but for example, like one of the options is like to be an effective therapist, right? Like an effective minister.
So then it's
like if they have like a very clear,
gonna...
like they want to be an effective veterinarian, like can they make a swap like that?
What has you asking this question, Becca?
This list for me personally has always felt very geared towards people on an entrepreneurial path, or like even like it, I can only see it through my own experience, obviously, which is why I'm asking the questions to you guys, because I trust your judgment. But like anytime I've looked at this list, I'm like, I'm like trying to see it through the lens of a teenager. And yeah, when I think about,
so quick question,
like
Becca.
so many of my clients are like very focused.
Becca.
Yeah.
Is it that you're trying to see it through the eyes of a teenager, or is it you're seeing it through the eyes of your own doubts and worries about the tool. Because what I heard you say was that this feels very entrepreneurial.
Sorry, I thought you were going to finish. I thought there was more to that sentence. I think both. I think both are true.
And I'm really glad that you're bringing this up. If it helps at all, I did not really get life's intentions for like the first 6 to 8 months. It's kind of like, what is this thing? I really love standards of integrity, right? It was so obvious. And it took me a long time. It actually took me hanging around with Dr. Maria to get a sense of how relevant this is. Because being a minister is absolutely not a life's intention that I saw for myself 7 years ago, 8 years ago, nor now. But there are other life's intentions that have shifted. And so the key is actually seeing what is relevant for them right now. And so there may be a life's intention, say, being a veterinarian. It's like, it might be someone who wants to be a successful professional or a well-respected professional, right? Because at 16, they might want to be a veterinarian, but at 21, they might want to choose another field. So even narrowing the scope right there might not be supportive, but being a well-respected professional can come into play no matter what field they end up choosing. Is this helpful at all?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Thank you, Becca.
Thank you.
Jonathan.
I have something to share about this in regarding life's intentions that I think it's really interesting. It was something that FN said to me before I joined the first CTP, which is, she said, yeah, it's great that you're going to have coaching training because you are already a coach. It's just now your next step is getting the skill set to do it masterfully. So maybe at 16, you have a life intention to be a therapist, and there's something you can do in the present moment that calls this quality forth. It's not that you're going to do therapy right now, but there's something in the present moment that brings this quality and allows you to be successful with it.
Thank you, Jonathan. I love what you shared. One, because I've had a very similar experience with Beth Ann, and two, it's a really lovely reminder that sometimes the life's intention that's calling them forth isn't quite so immediate. So, for example, I've had clients that are coming to me because they're getting leadership coaching, and they're like, okay, so yeah, I want to be a well-respected professional. Of course, that's the life's intention. It's like, I'm glad that you see that, and take a look, which I get the sense that there might be one that gives this some sweetness. Which one might it be? And it's like, oh, maybe to be spiritually developing. This is actually the life's intention that's really alive for this situation right here and now. And so this is part of the coaching dance, is getting a sense, like, what's the energy of their experience with the life's intention that they're looking at. It might be charged because, oh, there's a point of mastery here, or it might be flat because that's actually not the life's intention that's calling them forth. And so you get to explore with them. So what's the one that's calling you forth? Are you getting this? Sparkles, if this is landing with you. Great.
Yep. If there are doubts when introducing a tool like Life's Intentions, return to the green lens and the coaching lens, knowing that they have their own answers. You are not prescribing this. You're inviting them to look at this and for them to see which life's intentions And I love that we're turning these slides into a handout because I love that point on one of the slides. It's like this is about discovering how life is calling you forth.
Mm.
And I'm sure at any age there are some on this list that will call them forth.
Yeah.
And a couple things related to what Raquel was just saying. Sometimes when we do introduce life's intentions, we might do some things with them. For example, create the fundamental affirmations. Like pick 3 that you rated a 5, write them down, and put "I am willing" in front of them, and look at them every day. It's a good way to have them train their brain to experience these life's intentions. Now, because I've seen this come up again and again with coaches and CIEs, if you do the fundamental affirmations, or maybe you have them do a life blueprint, or even set a SMART goal around a life's intention, when you're coaching them, always use the inventory as the coaching tool, because of a lot of what Raquel is pointing to. They may not have rated it a 5, but because of what they're looking at, dismantling their structure of knowing, they say, oh my gosh, actually, right now, this is about being an adventurer. Well, I only put it as a 2, but I'm seeing that actually I want this to be an adventure for me. So, because I've seen sometimes, well, this wasn't one of my 3 life's intentions. It's like, what do you mean you 3? Look at the inventory. It may be you can have as many 5s as you want, and it may be one that they didn't even put a 5 for. So always use the inventory in the context of a coaching session when they're looking. And the other piece is tying back to what we said in the beginning. When they're surrendering, it's one of the easiest things they can point their attention to. When we shift, we always need something more interesting than the monkey mind conversation or the limiting conclusion. Monkey mind conversations can be pretty damn interesting. Have you noticed? So a life's intention is something that's more interesting. It's more compelling. That's why it's so useful to have in place early, because it's like gives them something. Okay, what's more interesting? I'm willing to be an adventurer, or this is never going to work. This whole conversation. So Karen and Sharon, and then we want to keep moving because we have a couple other tools to talk through.
Hi. Yeah, thank you. So I'm doing the life's intentions with a client next week. So I've shared with him the document, and I've asked him to rate each of them 1 to 5, and I said he could put as many 5s as he wants. And I couldn't remember if that's how you do it. It's been so long now since I've been through the training, so I forget. So that's my first question. Can they have as many 5s as they want, or they're supposed to narrow it down? Or they just put all the 5s that they want and then they narrow it to 3. But then so that's question number 1. But then when I scroll down the document, it says this make your laminated card, etc. So I wonder, is that where we go next, or are there other ways other than doing the laminated card that we can take it after they pick, for example, the 3 life's intentions that are most important to them right now? So where do I go next with this client? That's what I would love to know.
Well, pointing back to the principles.
Yeah.
It's like, what does the client need in each session? Once again, it's not about narrowing it down, because that implies that these other life's intentions that I rated a 5 are less important.
Yeah.
It can be useful for them to pick 3, for example, to focus on, because your brain can't focus on 10 life's intentions at once, for example. But be open by coaching session, what's the life's intention that this is about? And it may not be one of those 3. So, in the context of coaching, identifying the life's intention that is really at the heart of the conversation, session by session, is the most consistent way you can practice with their life's intentions. Now, it can also connect meaning and relevance to the action. It's like, okay, great. So I'm just used to be an adventurer because that's the example I'm talking about. So what would someone with the life's intention to be an adventurer do next? So they're demonstrating their life's intentions. And sometime next year we'll do a session on setting goals with clients, because life's intentions can be at the heart of a goal that they set that they're playing for as well. But you don't need to do any of that. You don't even need to have them make a card for them to see session by session what's the life's intention at play here. That's one of the best ways you can use it. Because otherwise it becomes like a curriculum, like, okay, next you do this, and then your next step with life's intentions is this, and we start to have an agenda, and then the coaching opportunities get lost on us.
And we've said in times past, pick as many 5s as you want. I'm finding that it's easier to say, pick about 8 that are really alive for you right now. Because one, it just reinforces, like, this is a snapshot. But what's really important, and you're going to run into this, I'm sure you already have already, Karen. Sometimes a client might entertain the conversation that one life's intention is competing against the other. And that's also a coachable moment. Like, what if they actually reinforce each other? What might be possible for you? Because it's like saying that yourself, your soul is, competing against yourself. It's ontologically not possible. And so supporting them to see how some of these life's intentions can support, kind of provide the basis for the one that's really alive to really move forward. Seeing the connection amongst them is where it gets to be really fun for you as a coach. Because how many times have we said, I would love to be a contributor to my community, but I have to focus my time on being financially successful. It's like, really? Do they really play against each other? So are folks getting this? Sharon.
Yes, my question is this life intention inventories only suitable for certain countries, but not all countries because of the cultural difference?
Say more about that.
This life intention inventory only suitable for certain countries, but not all countries, because of the cultural difference. My client is Chinese. I still use the life intention inventories. I found, sometimes I need to explain what's the job, what's the life intention meaning.
So we have had people come through the Mastering Your Life course from countless countries and cultures, and it's relevant. Now, there may be, depending on the language, there may be some translation involved.
Right.
And I know that we've had a wonderful team that has translated Mastering Life's Energies into Mandarin, and Chen and Meng and so many our Chinese leaders are bringing this work into that language. So I would talk with your Chinese ACE coach buddies in terms of how to effectively communicate from a language standpoint. But we have not yet discovered a country or culture where this isn't relevant, because the nature of the ontological work is based on the universal human experience.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You got it. All right. Well, I say we take a look at monkey mind. I think these next two will probably go a little quicker because do you see we're pointing to the same principles for each of these? We're not giving you, this is exactly when and how to introduce this particular tool. Good. All right.
Let's go ahead and pull up the benefits for Monkey Mind then. So
I like the title of this slide. What are the benefits of monkey mind?
Oh, it's your dear friend. So. And the checklist supports you to your client, really, to experience the observational gap. They've been experiencing the internal chatter. It's been getting their way again and again and again. And by seeing the monkey mind conversations that are familiar to them, it supports them to differentiate between that chatter of doubt to worry back to doubt again, and how it's different from their normal thoughts. So that way they can start understanding when they're experiencing that familiar conversation, what it is. It normalizes the worries and the doubts that are coming up for them as they are moving forward towards something important in their life. And it supports them to see that these doubts and worries are not a sign that something's wrong, but in fact, it might be letting them know that something's right. And Olga can drop these in the chat. Any questions here before we move forward? Great. So we don't recommend using it in the first session. Why? Come off mute.
Too big of a concept.
Concept. Great. What else?
I think it could come across as almost accusatory, or that there's something wrong with them if they don't understand what is underneath it.
Yep. Yep. Anything else?
They may not have anywhere to shift their attention to. If it's the first tool you've introduced and they don't have their life's intentions or standards of integrity or being willing or the coaching agreement or arena,
yep,
there's little direction for them to shift.
Brilliant. You see this, what Faith and Dave and Tilly shared? Yeah, it's too big for the first session. Like, oh my gosh. One, you're gonna have to try and explain this to them. Two, they might think that like you only see them as see them as their monkey mind, that there's something wrong with them. You know, and three, once they discover this, where on earth are they going to shift their attention? So you want to introduce this, probably closer to the third session. And what's important about this is that you have those sessions on the front end to have time to be in a relationship with your client. Remember what Greg said. If we took all these tools away, the most powerful thing that you could do, with or without the tools, is to see them through the green lens, to create the context of all is well. And that by being seen and experienced in this way, then your client knows, there's not something wrong with me. My coach isn't trying to fix me. In fact, there isn't anything here to fix. And so by bringing this tool in around the third session, then they can see this isn't the way that you see them at all. You now together can take a look at the difference between who they are. They've already gotten a sense of it through the life's intentions. Who they are and their monkey mind. then they can start seeing, they are not their brain. They have a brain, and eyes and ears, nose and mouth. They are not any one of these. And so, again, much like with the others, this is something that you bring in of like, hey, so I've got this thing. During a coaching session, because by the third session, they're like their comfort of really like setting forth all the stuff that's in box 2, all the evidence, right? Then you can take a look together. Wow, I hear what you're saying. And I've got something I want to share with you, because it might help you map what's happening right now. And then you can share with them the symptoms checklist and say, so considering what you just said to me during our time together, which one of these is most familiar to you right now? And then they might say, oh, it might be this one, it might be this one. It's like, great. Consider it like Diana Ross and the Supremes. You got some backup singers, but like who's the lead singer? And then you go in, oh, right. It's this one, coach. You're like, great. Do you see it? And they're like, yeah. It's like, all right. Then you can take a look at it because you've already got the life's intentions. So it's evident that something here is important to you, because monkey mind isn't something that happens all the time. Notice how different your thoughts are when you're focused on something that is more interesting, like being a loving partner, being a loving parent. Your client goes, oh yeah, I can see the difference. Great. So the thing about monkey mind is that it only comes up for us when we're about to bring a vision that we have for ourselves. In this case, it's X. And you're about to bring it to life. You're about to bring it into physical reality. This is when monkey mind comes into play. Temple.
When I have used Monkey Mind, I have had clients that I loved your example of the Supremes, because it's like, oh, well, it's these 4. So what I've done with them, and I'm saying this to get feedback. So what I've done is I'll just say, you know what? Just look at the symptoms. Any of them that speak to you, just let me know. I'll create a list. And then I'll have them go back and I'll say, you know what? Okay, of this list, which one is the one that's really speaking the most to you right now? Sometimes, most times, they're able to choose one. Then there are times when it's still like, oh, it's between 1 or 2. And then I'll say, okay, well, which one is just the most interesting that you would like to delve into at this moment? And that's how I've kind of done it. And the reason why I will do it that way is because of the concept that there's the holographic nature of coaching. And so I figured, wait a minute. I don't know. Let me pull that back. Let me retrieve that. We'll do it that way because I want to empower the client to have agency over, okay, which one are we going to delve into? I don't want to be the one to make the decision for them. And I figure that in the end, breakthrough in one space will eventually create a breakthrough in another space, which is where the holographic piece comes in.
Good. So I love that you're seeing coaching as holographic, and as a reminder for people with a hologram, when you affect or change one piece of the hologram, it affects the whole image, and we can see our lives in coaching like that. So that's brilliant. Because you requested feedback, I wouldn't say which one speaks to you that you want to delve into, because that will invite processing. you don't want the client to be processing their monkey mind. You don't want them to delve into it. You want them to just observe it and create that gap so that they can shift. So, and I'll use this opportunity to get this on recording on the record because I say it all the time. On your ontological questions and phrases, everyone, there's a question, of observational question. If this were a monkey mind conversation, what symptoms might you be demonstrating? What we want you to do at this level is use reflective listening. So there's already monkey mind in the space. And you say, if this whole conversation about nobody wants to support me and the system is rigged and I'm just stuck and I have this block and whatever they said were a monkey mind conversation, what symptom might you be demonstrating? And then as they're looking at the list and they say, well, it might be this, it might be this, and you're trying to kind of zone in, we use the reflection again. Okay, so if this conversation about blah, 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 reflect, 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 because the tool is there to help create the gap between the monkey mind conversation that they've already been swimming in. So you don't really want to delve into it. You want to delve out of it. I don't know what that means, but you get it? And it's a way to pop out of the processing of it. It's a way to be like, oh, there it is. I'm doing resignation.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Now, you might ask, is this familiar? And have them see where it's coming up in other areas of your life. That helps bring in the holographic nature. But the main purpose is to create that gap so they can shift. You don't need to process it. You don't need to, okay, more. At a certain point, you get a sense that they've had enough. And the monkey mind symptom checklist creates that gap. So then great, what might be more interesting? And they shift their attention. Now, pointing back to what Raquel was saying, don't bring it in on the first session. They can observe monkey mind without knowing the word monkey mind. Doesn't mean don't do observation in the first session, but by labeling it monkey mind in the first session, it'll kind of introduce this like, oh, everything I'm saying, coach is saying is just monkey mind kind of dynamic. You can actually have them observe monkey mind for 6 months without ever using the word monkey mind. Because once again, you don't need the tools to coach. They're just helpful to kind of enhance the coaching. Is this clear, folks? Sparkles, if it's clear. Great. Let's hear from Karen and Temple, and then we want to make sure we get to standards of integrity.
I don't know. This has happened to me a couple times with 2 different people when I've met with them maybe 5 times, and then I notice a lot of monkey mind thoughts in our conversation. So I'll introduce the monkey mind symptoms checklist to them. And maybe I'm not introducing it very well, but I'll ask them, what symptoms they're noticing, and nothing. They're like, no, none of these, nothing. And it's happened with a couple different people. So I thought, I don't know, is there any what I've done in that case has been like, okay, just thought we'd try it, drop it, move on to something else.
Karen, did you reflect the monkey mind conversation in their words in the way that I just demonstrated?
So I don't have a clear memory. It's been over a few months. I probably did not.
Yeah, that's the most likely reason someone would ever say, I'm not doing any of these, is that they're not clearly seeing what they've been saying, in the energy of it. So reflecting in their words, the monkey mind conversation, and then having it be, okay, so if this conversation reflected a couple times were a monkey mind conversation, what might it be? Another thing to notice here, conditional tense. What monkey mind symptom are you doing right now? Is confronting monkey mind, to which monkey mind will say, there's no monkey mind here. if this whole conversation about bringing some lightness to it, if this whole conversation about blah blah blah, it's never going to work, I don't have enough time, blah 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 blah. If this were a monkey mind conversation, conditional, what symptoms might you be demonstrating, conditional? And it brings some lightness, has them reflect to see the words they're using, and then the conditional kind of slides past monkey mind so they can say, okay, if they still say I'm doing none of them, you can say, well, that would be symptom 1 being vague. But that's probably not going to happen. Okay. So I
Yeah.
would say it's probably the reflective listening and conditional tense that will help them open up to see it.
Okay, thanks. I'm sure the reflective listening, I didn't repeat back to them what they had said, so yeah,
got
thank
it.
you. Very helpful.
Perfect.
Thank you, Karen.
Okay.
Right. So our final tool that we're going to talk about is standards of integrity. So like with standards of integrity, like with life's intention, standards of integrity is useful as a call to being. Really helps them see, that brings the hero forth. Sorry, and Olga, can you bring up the slide, please? And moreover, it helps them very clearly see the difference between the monkey mind conversation their brain has been entertaining and who they are. It gives them a real clear understanding of how they might have been showing up versus their heart, their truest self. And another benefit of the standards of integrity is it functions as a North Star. It's a key guide to their day-to-day actions that helps them know whether or not how they've been showing up is in line with what they're up for in life. And that by showing up as their standards of integrity, supporting them to practice this more consistently throughout your coaching journey, it supports them to see that aligning themselves with their standards of integrity gives their life some meaning. It helps bring harmony, satisfaction, fulfillment. Now, I would recommend that, and Olga, you can go ahead and take this down, please, that you bring in standards of integrity probably closer to the 5th session, maybe the 4th, but closer to the 5th, which is also another great reason to set your clients up for a 12-session package. This is a journey. Why is it important to wait until around the 5th session? Well, when you do, and remember this for yourselves, folks, because right now we're all in a position where it's like standards of integrity, like, it's so juicy. We love it. But remember for yourself, when you first discovered your standards of integrity, did you have a moment where you thought, I mean, I'd like to be that. I don't really believe that's me. Great. This is natural. This happens almost every single time we introduce standards of integrity. So be prepared for the energy to fall a little flat. You know, I remember my first times introducing this tool where I was so excited because I was basing it off of my experience of standards of integrity, as opposed to recognizing they might not believe it. And so there's that womp womp space in the room. And that's where you as coach, because you've had so much time with them, you can then invite them to say their standards of integrity. Remember, start off with, these are my, have them read it aloud to you slowly. Might even want to have them do it twice. So that way it lands. And you write them down as they're sharing them with you. And then from there, you can say, Jonathan, I've seen how you've demonstrated being courageous in our sessions together. Becca, I've seen you demonstrate being visionary. Liz, wow, it is so clear how playful that you are. You're willing to see this. Are you willing to let this in? And then your client might say, okay. And it's like, then you can say something like, what is it costing you to not let it in? It's like, oh, I feel like I'm always striving to be. And it's like, yes. What might be available to you if you saw that this is something that you can call forth rather than something you're trying to do? Notice the difference in energy, the difference in effort. And I know that you have such a full life. Wouldn't you just love to be using your energies more effectively? And they go, yeah, coach, I would. Greg, is there anything you want to chime in with?
Yeah, this is beautiful. Well, I just want to emphasize what Raquel said. Don't be surprised if the energy falls flat at first. You didn't do it wrong.
Yeah.
You didn't do it wrong. And as you continue to practice it, they'll experience it more and more. Now, one of the things, in addition to all Raquel's saying, and I love being able to reflect back what you've seen after 5 or 6 sessions, one of the things that can be useful for people to see is your standards of integrity buy you nothing except the privilege of demonstrating them and contributing them to others. Because it takes it out of the self-assessment of, like, I'm trying to do these positive aspirational qualities, to no, these are available, but the only way they're going to do you any good is if you show up demonstrating them with your actions. And then it becomes like an opportunity, a calling forth, as Raquel's saying. And in your coaching, every time they then can shift to their standards of integrity from the monkey mind and then do an action that's going to demonstrate it. You know, you heard me say earlier with just life's intentions, you know, what would someone with this life's intention do next? What would someone with these standards of integrity do next can really tap into their ways of wisdom. And every time they demonstrate their standards of integrity, they experience it more and more. So that by the end of your 6 months together, or a year together, or 2 years together, but at least at the end of your time working together, they've experienced demonstrating their standards of integrity. And so they're much more able to see that this is them.
Mm-hmm.
And there'll be times where they come in with incoherence and they see how frustrated they get when they're not being their standards of integrity. And it becomes more and more like a compass for them on their hero's journey. Just clear, folks. Good.
Aaron,
question.
So my question is, I think the biggest thing that's surprising me is how the 4th or 5th session we're introducing this. So what if you just have like 3 sessions with a client? Or what do you like? You have 1 or 2 sessions. I know you said, Raquel, focus on being in relationship with them. So are we just having a conversation and we're just getting, I mean, I'm coaching, but like, is the point of the first 2 sessions to just get to an authentic action and just have the client just start talking to you? Like, how do you, like, do you tell them, just how can I support you today?
Coach them, Aaron. Coach them. Bring them, let them observe, let them surrender, let them move into action. But coach them without teaching them a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So that the way you're being with them, because remember, coaching isn't about asking a whole bunch of questions. You can use acknowledgement, use of silence, call to being. There'll be something for them to observe, I promise.
Okay.
But you don't need to go into, I need you to get your life's intentions. I need you to understand monkey mind. I have a script here. You must follow it. No, you have plenty of time in your session to focus on being in relationship acknowledge them, call to being, enroll them, there'll be something that comes up that they can observe and shift beyond.
Okay.
And I strongly encourage you to have packages greater than 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not hiring you for tools, Erin. You have ample tools. You've been doing career advising in some way, shape, or form. Now you're doing coaching. Be coached. Support them to experience the transformation that they're bringing you on for. Give them certainty that this is a journey in which they get to really come forth and you get to be in partnership with them. Enroll them into that.
Okay.
Okay. And my this isn't it, buddy. I can't tell you how long I thought coaching was the tools and like I wasn't enough. Let me be really clear. You are a most excellent coach. That's why you're here.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, folks, this has been a rich conversation. Thank you for being here because, we're going to put this on the portal and it's going to support future coaches to really get this stuff. So thank you for engaging. It's been wonderful to be together. Jake has a surprise for you that we want to make sure we announce before we end.
Wait. Would you guys like a surprise? Would you like something really special? You want to end our time together seeing something really juicy? Jake, you got something juicy for us?
I do.
you
Thank you
got?
for the setup. We are very excited to be launching a new ACE Coach directory that will be visible on our website. So soon you'll have instructions on how to sign up, a video that I'll walk you through. It'll all be available in the student portal. But for now, just wanted to give you a preview of what it's going to look like and how it works. So for the first time, check out the ACE Coach directory. So this will be on our website under the resources tab. There'll be a button that says find a coach. So folks can come and browse and search and filter for ACE coaches. So we have an explanation of these categories that are listed here for people who are looking for a coach and might not know the breakdown of our programs. Once you pass your OC1, you are eligible to sign up for a listing on the coach directory. So each of these levels corresponds to passing an OC. You can see this is the training you've had, the mentor coaching, all the descriptions for folks who are looking. Once you pass OC6, you are a certified ACE coach. So that's why it just goes up to 5, even though there are 6 OCs. So we've got all of the student levels. We have a little bit about ICF credentials here, because that's another way that we can filter and tag ourselves in this, and licensed academy trainers, folks who've gone through the LAT program. So folks can come to this website, they can search for a person and see who comes up. We've got a Greg. They can also browse by category, by focus area, where we have these options listed for specialties. You can also add other if there's something that you do that's not listed here. You've got a bio. You can list your location, whether you do in-person, phone, Zoom, what your rates per session are, sliding scale, and group offerings. So let's say somebody goes to your page, they want to learn more. We've got the tags here, focus areas, and we also have a space for you to include a discovery call booking link for people to book a discovery session right with you. They can also get in contact with you directly on your page. If they type a message in here, it'll get sent to the email address that you use when you sign up. So we look forward to building out even more tools, but this is our starting point. And yeah, all you have to do is register. It's a $15 fee for 1 year of being listed on the directory. And I'm sure as we start onboarding folks, we'll discover ways to keep enhancing it and making it useful. But yeah, stay tuned. Within the next couple weeks, you should be able to create your own listing in the coach directory.
You have it, folks, and we'll be promoting you. We're proud to have you represent ACE.
Yeah.
So just to highlight some of what's new is you can list your levels based on your OC. So every time you pass an OC, it shows your experience, and we describe how much training and experience goes in on the website. And once again, it's $15 per year, not per month.
Yeah.
So that's just to cover the cost of our the platform that we're using for that.
Exactly. So please get yourself on there. Those of you who are here in the room, those of you who are watching the recording, because one of the reasons why we wanted to do this is as we wrap Foundations 1, we want to be able to point to, if you're interested in continuing on with coaching with an ACE trained coach, here's a link. And then that way they can find the coach that's most relevant for what they're up for. All right. And $15 for a year-long space that that folks can find you it's a pretty sweet investment. You know,
Yep.
Coffee costs a lot more than that these days. So
like $1.25 a month. It's also, a way for, I know we're at time if people need to jump, go for it. We're glad you're here. We'll send a follow-up email as well. People come to us asking for a coach, and this makes it much easier for us to filter by, I want to coach this price range, this, that does relationship coaching or creative coaching, whatever it is. This is a tool we can use to say like, okay, great. I'm going to point to 3 of our coaches. And by listing it on our website, more people will come asking us for recommendations for coaches. And of course, we would only ever recommend an ACE coach, the best coaches in the world, if you ask my completely unbiased opinion.
Totally unbiased, and I'm in full agreement. So thank you, everyone. Please, please, please share any insights, share what you've gotten out of the session in the, which Slack channel in
the coach chat, the coach chat Slack channel, I think is great. We'd love to hear what you got out of this. If there are any questions that come up, sometimes a couple hours later you say, I wish I had asked that. Ask it in Slack, and we're happy to answer. Okay.
And we'll send all the information in a follow-up email. Thank you for your really great questions, your insight, and thank you for being out there coaching. We're so proud of the work that you're doing. Y'all take care. See you soon.
Thank you.